Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Just like an intrepid explorer searching for gold using only the map embedded in the facial tattoo of Mike Tyson, this is the Discriminating Gamer. Say, do you like cartoons? Do you like networks? Well, then let's take a look at the Cartoon Network Crossover Crisis deck building game from Cryptozoic. The Cartoon Network Crossover Crisis deck building game from Cryptozoic is a 2 to 5 player game that uses the Cerberus engine that we all know and love. This is a game that has been a part of the DC Comics deck building game, the Lord of the Rings deck building game, NHL Power Play, and many, many more. This engine, well, it's simple and it works, so they keep using it with the different themes. Basically, in a nutshell, it's a deck builder game. You draw 5 cards on your turn. You can buy cards from the lineup, 5 cards in the middle. You can buy one of those cards. Of course, you try to defeat the big villain, the big baddie, in this case a nemesis that comes out. You can also gain weaknesses, which take up space in your card and can have some adverse effects. And you also can do some other fun and interesting things depending on which cards you play. Very simple, very straightforward. If you want kind of a more in-depth rules explanation to how this system works, I recommend you check out Season 1, Episode 5, The Discriminating Gamer, when we take a deeper look at the DC Comics deck building game. So the Cartoon Network Crossover Crisis deck building game, there are a few new little rules. Essentially, it plays almost identically to these other Cerberus Engine games, but there are a few other little things here and there. For instance, as I say, the weakness cards have specific weaknesses they give you. They don't give you like negative victory points like they do in the DC game. Rather, they just, kind of do little things here and there. You can't buy certain kinds of cards on a turn when that comes up in your hand, and little things like that. Now, your starter cards are Punchies and Pratfalls, and this is kind of like Punches and Vulnerability in DC. Now, in DC, the vulnerabilities do absolutely nothing for you. They just take up space in your hand. The Pratfalls in this edition are kind of like that, but you do have the opportunity to get rid of weakness cards when you use them, so they're not completely useless like they are in DC. Now, you also have event cards that will come up out of the main deck. Now, these cards, instead of just going into the lineup like cards you can buy, they're things you have to resolve. And this gets into almost party game territory because they're going to be things like you have to pretend the floor and the tabletop itself are made of lava. You can touch stuff on the tabletop, but you can't touch the tabletop itself. If you do, you have to destroy the top card of your deck. You also have to do things like you act like you have more gravity weighing on you in a turn. So that makes it, again, kind of takes it almost a little bit into the area of a party game here. Another thing that's pretty different here is a fist bump. From time to time, cards are going to tell you to give fist bumps to other players. That may give you or they or both of you certain advantages. You can draw another card or something like that, but you have to do a fist bump to another player. I guess theoretically they could decide not to do it, but it's usually in their interest to fist bump you if you go for a fist bump. And you can either, boom, explode it, or just not explode it. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Frequently, too, you'll also be asked to play rock, paper, scissors. So there's this little metagame in there. In order to decide things, you play a game of rock, paper, scissors with somebody. If you play the game of rock, paper, scissors with somebody, you come up with scissors, they come up with rock. Whoever wins is going to get a draw card or get some other kind of advantage. Other than that, as I say, it's pretty much a lot like the DC Comics deck building game, Lord of the Rings deck building game. You keep going through the cards until you have enough to defeat the big baddie. Once you get through all of the baddies in that, the villains, the nemesis in that deck, or if you get through all the cards in the main deck, the game is over. You then tally up all of the points on all of the cards you have. Whoever has the most victory points is the winner of the Cartoon Network Crossover Crisis deck building game. So I've got to tell you, I have never watched Cartoon Network. I am completely unfamiliar with the shows that this game is referencing, and the vast majority of the jokes and the humor in this game just went "Vroom!" I didn't get it. I didn't connect with this game on that level. However, everybody I played this game with was a fan of all of these shows. George, Holly, and Darren freaking love Cartoon Network. They love all these shows. They're sitting there talking with each other, laughing, remembering their favorite episodes, their favorite characters. Meanwhile, I was just sitting there brooding the whole time, wanting to share in their fun, and not allowed to. It wasn't the first time I've been excluded. But, having said I didn't really the theme didn't connect with me. Still, this is a solid engine. It's a solid game. I enjoyed the game. Even not having known the theme, I had fun with this game. I love the system, and I think kind of the mechanics that this game brought, for the most part, I really enjoyed. Now, some of those kind of, as I say, party game elements that come up with the event cards, that's kind of pushing my limit of how much I enjoy a game. I don't usually like silly, over-the-top stuff that kind of takes you out of the game like that. Here, I didn't mind it so much. Here, it wasn't too much. It was there, but it wasn't oppressive there. So I didn't mind it. Generally speaking, as I say, I like this game. I had a lot of fun with it. Now, I'll tell you right now, if you do not own any of the Cerberus Engine deck building games from Cryptozoic, I really think it's a question of what theme tickles your fancy. You know, if you really like hockey, get the NHL Power Play, which I had a lot of fun with, and I know nothing about hockey. If you like the superheroes, then get the DC game. If you like the Lord of the Rings, get the Lord of the Rings game. And if you like Cartoon Network, get this game. Get this Crossover Crisis game. It really comes down to which themes do you like and which themes do you enjoy. I'll tell you right now, I don't know that I would buy this game, for me personally, because, as I say, the theme is just something I don't connect with. I don't know, really. I don't watch these shows. Maybe they're really great. I just haven't watched them. But at the same time, it's a good game that I had a lot of fun with. And so the recommendation that I'm going to throw out there is just simply this. If you like Cartoon Network, you're going to like this game. If you like these TV shows on Cartoon Network, I think you will really, really, really get a kick out of the Cartoon Network Crossover Crisis deck building game from Cryptozoic. So that's pretty much my recommendation. If you like Cartoon Network, buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and I gotta tell you, I really hope that Cryptozoic's next deck building game is ABBA, the deck building game. Huh? ABBA? You remember that, Dancing Queen? That'd be great. You'd play cards and groove.
Please somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. God knows that I love it.
You look so freaking tough right now, George.